So here's the scene. Big boardroom, CEO at the head of the table, 12 people in the room, directors, VPs, a couple of external consultants. And I'm sitting there watching my boss present the strategy. The exact strategy I had spent 3 months building, slide by slide, framework by framework. And every single time the CEO nodded, every time he leaned forward and said, "Interesting, tell me more," my boss used one word. "I looked at the data," he said. "I identified this gap. I built this framework." Not once, not one single time did he say "we." And I'm sitting there 6 seats down the table thinking, do I say something? Do I correct him right now in front of the CEO, or do I just let this happen? If you have been in that room or a room that felt exactly like that room, stay with me. Because what I'm about to share is not just what I did, it's the system I built because of it. Let me take you back to how this actually started. It was Q3 planning season, right? My boss calls me into his office and says, "I need you to build the operational strategy for the next year. Board level presentation and make it clean," he said. So I did. 3 weeks benchmarking against the strategic goals, gap analysis, a full rollout roadmap, and phased milestones. I ran the number 3 times. I stress tested the assumptions. I built something I was genuinely proud of. And every time I showed him a draft, he'd say the same thing. "Great work. This is exactly what we need." And here is where I made the mistake. And I want you to really hear this. I never created visibility above him. I never made sure the people who mattered, the people above my boss, had any idea where this work was coming from. So when the day of the CEO meeting arrived, it was my strategy, but it had his name on it. And honestly, it wasn't even the credit that hurt the most. It was the silence after, the walk back to my desk, the colleagues who looked at me and then quickly looked away. That quite awkward feeling, where the colleagues pretend like, "Oh, I didn't see that." That kind of energy. That is what I call the blast zone. And a lot of us have been in it. Before I tell you what I did, I need to ask you something. Has this happened to you? A boss, a senior colleague, someone above you, or maybe it was a peer. Has anyone ever taken credit for your work in a room where it actually mattered? Give me a yes or a no in the comments below, right? Write it down. I want to know how many of us have been in that exact situation. Now, my first instinct, and I'm guessing yours too, was to be angry, to confront him, to walk back into that boardroom and make sure the CEO heard a different version of the story. But the truth is, and this is the part most career advice gets completely wrong, that instinct will damage your career faster than your boss ever could. Because the moment you became the person who publicly calls out their manager, you stop being seen as a strategic leader. You get tagged as difficult, as someone who's political, as someone who cannot work within a team. You cannot fight a credit-stealing boss with emotion. You have to outposition them. What I eventually built through some painful, expensive trial and error is a framework I now call the Iron Wall Protocol. 3 moves, and they're not dramatic, they're not confrontational, but they make it structurally very difficult for anyone above you, below you, beside you to erase your contribution from the conversation. This is not revenge. It is not politics. It is just smart positioning. Before I walk you through the 3 moves, I want to give you something, a gift. Most professionals I talk to don't realize how exposed they actually are. They think because they are working hard and delivering results, they are safe. But visibility and contribution are 2 completely different things. So I built a free promotion readiness assessment. It takes about 3 minutes. It tells you exactly where you stand right now and how visible you are to the people who make promotion decisions and where your blind spots are. The link is in the description. Take it before the end of the video, because the Iron Wall Protocol I'm about to show you will land very differently once you know which wall you actually need to build first. Move 1. The paper trail that doesn't look like a paper trail. Most people think protecting themselves means sending defensive emails. They write something like, "Just confirming what we discussed," and that's how they start their sentence. But then that is so obvious. People see it as political, and it creates friction with your boss, especially if they see it exactly as how you meant it. Here is what you do instead. Send progress update framed as project updates, not protection emails. You copy the relevant stakeholders not because you're protecting yourself, but because they might find this useful for their planning. When I was building that strategy, I should have been sending a one-liner every 2 weeks to the cross-functional leads. Something like, here's where we are on the annual plan, flagging it in case it touches your roadmap. And that's it. That one move could have put my name in 6 inboxes above my boss's level before the CEO meeting ever happened. Move number 2, stakeholder visibility before the meeting. Here is something most professionals, even the experienced ones, do not realize. By the time you walk into a big presentation, the narrative is already fixed. The real decision about who gets credit, who gets the next opportunity, those happen in the pre-meeting conversations. So the protocol is this. Before any high-stakes presentation involving your work, make sure at least one senior person above your boss has already heard your name attached to the work. Not in a boastful way, right? In a genuinely helpful way. So it should go something like, hey, I wanted to share a quick preview of the analysis before the full meeting. Wanted to get your inputs before we finalize. That one conversation or an email changes everything, because now when your boss walks into the boardroom and says, I built this, there is someone in the room who already knows a different version of the story. You did not confront anyone. You did not play politics. You just gave someone useful information. So now, move number 3, the quiet debrief. This is the move most people skip, and it is one of the most powerful of the 3. After the meeting, after the dust settles, 2 or maybe 3 days later, you request a short one-on-one with the decision maker. Again, it's not your boss, right? This is the person your boss reports to, possibly. Your framing is clean. It should go something like, I wanted to follow up on the strategy presentation and get your perspective on the rollout timeline. Now, in this meeting, you're not going into this as a complaint, not to correct the record. You're not going in as a victim. You are going in as an executive. And in that conversation, you walk through the details with the level of clarity that only the person who actually built it would have. Every question they ask, you answer it. Every nuance they probe, you know it. You don't have to say a single word about credit. By the end of the meeting, they already know. So what happened in my situation? I'll be honest with you, I did not have all 3 moves figured out at the time. I was learning. What I did do, however, 2 days after that boardroom meeting was the quiet debrief day, right? I didn't coin this word at the time, but I went for it. I requested 20 minutes with the executive sponsor of the project to discuss implementation sequencing. That's what I called it back then. And in that conversation, I walked him through the entire strategy. I did not claim credit, wasn't complaining, just answering every question with the precision of someone who had lived inside this problem for 3 months. By the end of that meeting, he knew. He did not say anything directly. He did not correct my boss publicly. There was no dramatic moment. But 3 months later, when a senior role opened up in that team, he asked for me by name. Not my boss, me. And that is what the Iron Wall protocol is designed to build. It's not a single moment of justice. It's a pattern of visibility, a reputation that becomes undeniable over time because it is built on actual documented contribution, not just doing the great work and hoping someone notices. Look, you cannot stop every person who tries to take what's yours. Some bosses are wired this way, and no single confrontation, no matter how justified, will fix a system that allowed them to do it. But you can build a professional presence so visible, so documented, so connected to the people above your boss that stealing your credit becomes structurally almost impossible. You cannot outwork a credit thief. You have to outposition them. So this week, one move. Look at the next piece of high-stakes work you are building and ask yourself this question. Who above my boss's level should already know my name is attached to this? Then make that happen. One email, one preview conversation, one quiet debrief. That's the Iron Wall. And if you haven't taken the promotion readiness assessment yet, the link is in the description. 3 minutes is all it's going to take. It's free. It will show you exactly where the gaps are before your next promotion cycle begins. Lastly, if you stuck around until this point, thank you so very much. That also means that you liked the video. If you did, like and subscribe to the channel. It means a lot to me and encourages me to keep producing great content for you. Also, share this with someone who may need it. See you next week. Thank you.